Episode 2, the introduction of Black Star. Gonna give a heads up on this video, this is gonna be the first fully negative review. I really didn't enjoy this episode. And I also don't enjoy the character in general. I remember from my experience watching this as a teenager, I was just like, I kind of don't get the point of him and I wish he wasn't here, but I didn't fully hate him. And then rewatching, I'm like, oh yeah, he's even more insufferable than I remembered actually. I kind of just totally forgot he existed in the show. Except that there was one episode that made me really mad at Black Star. It wasn't this episode. Later on there's some sort of episode where him and Maka have to punch each other, and I can't remember at all what the context was. Maybe when I get there I'll find out like Kid Me was wrong and it wasn't as bad as I thought, but this episode was as bad as I thought, and in fact worse. This episode has also been edited because of YouTube copyright stuff, and I don't particularly care as much this time because I didn't like it in the first place. I don't think anyone's going to complain about having a little bit less grumpy Bon. So just a heads up that if you do like this character, you do like this episode, you probably wouldn't want to watch this. I'm not in any way saying my opinion is like 100% correct or I'm more right for not liking or anything. If you like this character, all power to you. For all I know, I could be the one who has a problem. But also, unfortunately, this is my channel and my review series, so I can only talk about my own opinions. So, if you just don't like this opinion, I would say move on to another episode or just watch a different YouTuber who's more fun. So with that out of the way, let's get to the mostly negative review. Brief summary of what the episode actually is. This was the first one where I could not remember a single thing from when I was a kid. I went in there to just, it's the episode with Black Star in it, and I didn't like Black Star. That's all I knew. And then when I started up, I remembered, oh yeah, it's the one where he fights the Mafia guys, and he doesn't fight the Mafia guys. The whole thing is a twisted. I'm gonna go through this part by part and explain it. Okay, we meet Black Star. Black Star is an arrogant guy who says he's the best at everything. And he's a ninja, but because he's so obsessed with being the best at everything, he's bad at being a ninja. He just screams all the time and wants to be on the biggest stage to show how great he is. And I don't understand the appeal of the character. I just think he's mean. He's probably meant to be a Naruto parody. That's all I've got. He's also lazy. His entire starting plot is, I want to take out this big mafia boss guy because he's an evil guy who's eaten 99 souls, therefore if we beat him we'll instantly get the 99 souls to instantly win the entirety of the school and never have to take a single class. And Black Star is because he's so stupidly arrogant, he will not in any way think about the risks and think about, hey, maybe I'm not good enough in fact to win against the ultimate super mega final boss on my first day of school. No, instead he drags his partner Tsubaki into this obvious, stupid thing that's not going to work, and he messes it all up because instead of fighting, he wants to do a song first. He wants to get up on the stage and sing, and I really don't like the scene specifically because he degrades Tsubaki so much by singing into her weapon form like a microphone. She's like, literally don't treat me like an actual object, please. But it's all funny, and he never learns a lesson, he never apologizes, he constantly believes he's the best ever, and the moral of the episode is not in any way that it's bad for him to be so arrogant. He has to learn to compromise more with his partner. I don't get it. It's the most obvious resolution to this plot ever. But anyway, he does that. He fails his stupid mission to fight the strongest, superest guy, and then he refuses to admit he did anything wrong, and he's horrible to Tsubaki. And Maka and Soul Eater literally just walk into the room and say out loud, Black Star looks like a jerk, but he is in fact not a full jerk. He must have some kind of redeeming qualities, otherwise why would Tsubaki stay with him? And it's called a toxic relationship. That's why it happens. But anyway, the resolution to the episode is just Black Star is not a full jerk because he draws the line at murdering children. That's the one thing he will not do, is murdering children. There is no resolution whatsoever to him treating his partner Tsubaki really badly in the first half. It's basically everything that happens in the first half of the episode doesn't matter to the second half of the episode. They get there to go have their second fight against the Al Capone guy, and it's just already been defeated off screen by Cool Witch Dad. We suddenly introduce this character at the last moment, this normal human man who doesn't have actual powers, but he fights really super good. He's so amazing at swordsmanship, he can like defy the logic and matter of the world, fighting with regular swords, like 1,000 of them at once, and he can run around and do all this crazy stuff. And anyway, Black Star is like, well, I hate you because you're stronger than me, and you're in fact not stronger than me. Anyone who thinks they're stronger than me is terrible because I'm the best guy in the world for no apparent reason. And he just gets really angry and vicious against this dude who has done nothing wrong. Like, generally Mifune just walks in and is like, please do not kill my literal child. Why are you here trying to murder this witch who's done nothing to you? And that's the reason why this episode sucks too, is it's exactly the same as the first episode. The moral, the whole structure is just the same but worse. It is yet again the characters blunder in and try to fight someone who is in fact not evil, and then they fail because of that, and then they have to start over. But it's just with characters that are way less endearing. And it doesn't hit as hard because it's a repeat, and it's not as developed or emotional in any way, and there's no bonding with the guy and his weapon partner. It really is like they just stop talking about his relationship with Tsubaki after the first half when we just switch to this new enemy. Anyway, we're fighting this new enemy, and he's great, he's fun, he's cool. I love the dynamic idea of here's a normal human man who's defending a witch because she's a little tiny child who's done nothing wrong and she shouldn't be killed just because of her species. Like, testing to see if she can be raised to be a good person, if evilness is not inherent in the witch species, if it's just a societal thing they teach to each other. It's great, and we don't expand on any of that because he's crammed into the last fucking half of an episode. I think he comes back later on. I really hope they do more with him. Anyway, Black Star again rightfully loses the fight because he's shit, and doesn't admit it, and takes great offence, and it's just horrible, really horrible to this man who is fighting to save his own adopted child. And then the twist at the end is, it was his adopted child! Ooh, you were yet again fighting a good person in recklessness, and doesn't even really learn the same lesson that Makaron Soul did. He's just, it is literally just Black Star isn't quite as shit as he possibly could be because he doesn't want to kill a child. It's like the ending of the episode has no correlation to the rest of the episode. The moral he learns is not the moral you would expect, not the moral he needed as a character. He wins because, well, when he really tries, he actually can be strong. He was just being lazy the whole time. That's portrayed as a really big, badass, cool moment for him, and I think it's supposed to prove that he's worthwhile, and you're supposed to like him now. But it's like, it just recontextualizes everything he did before as even worse, in my opinion. Because, like, you're literally endangering your partner who loves and cares about you more than you deserve for no reason, just because you're lazy. Why was he not putting the actual effort into fighting the super mega 100 soul boss guy? Protecting his partner, protecting Tsubaki, why was that not enough to motivate him to work hard? The thing that motivated him to work hard was being really, really angry that somebody exists who is stronger than him and actually earned it and is actually trying, is actually fighting for a good cause. He doesn't win because he's fighting for a good cause. It's literally man trying to defend a child from being murdered versus boy who is just a little peeved off that he's not good at things. Because he doesn't try to be good at things, he just thinks he's already perfect from the start. And he doesn't win because he's nicer to Tsubaki now. He doesn't win because he has the moral high ground. He doesn't even win against a villain. He wins against an innocent man he's beating the fuck up out for no reason. While screaming, going, "You're terrible, you're morally awful because you think you're bigger than me. Ooh, you must be an arrogant man." He literally acts as if Mifune is the arrogant one. I hate it. Every line of dialogue out this man's mouth. Anyway, that's also interrupted with terrible fan service. And unlike the first episode, there is no plot-serving aspect to the fan service. It's not actually even as extreme as the other two fan service episodes early on. It's less, but it's more morally bad in the plots. Okay, I need to talk about exactly why I just get so peeved at how Black Star treats Tsubaki. So okay, to establish things, Tsubaki is a special, different type of weapon person who can turn into multiple weapon forms. Like, her weapon, quote-unquote, is ninja tools. Like, it's called the Dark Arms. So basically she can turn into any type of weapon as long as it's a ninja thing. And she's really, really talented and really smart and really, like, level-headed and cool and, like, a nice big sister type. And she's great, and she totally would be passing her classes who didn't have a terrible, terrible partner. And, like, the show knows this, it says this, and it just doesn't see it as a bad thing. It's like, oh wait, they balance each other out by... Honestly, Tsubaki just sitting there and constantly simping for Black Star and never being allowed to tell him that what he's doing is upsetting her. It's upsetting me to watch it. She's not allowed to be mad that he's ruining her grades by not taking things seriously, and she has to do whatever he wants to do because he's the Meister. And it's just portrayed as she's so good that she doesn't quit and go find someone else that she actually works well with who will care. It's so, like, constant minor negging in how he talks. There's this whole stupid moment where it's like Tsubaki mildly suggesting they maybe do a wiser course of action. He gets really pissed off. Like, Tsubaki, you're judging me. You think I'm so stupid. You think I'm like you literally said you could fight the 99 Souls guy and you could not. Therefore, she is suggesting a different thing we can do to train to get better, to go back for a rematch. She can't even directly say you were incorrect. You did indeed fail, we should try something else. She tries so hard to couch all her language, like, managing his mood constantly, it's really kind of creepy. Just like, well, we did as well as we could, I'm just suggesting maybe in the meantime, before we go back for our second match, we could do other jobs on the board. And she doesn't even directly say to get more experience because we haven't fucking fought before and we tried to go immediately to the strongest stupid fucking guy. It just constantly cuts to her inner monologue of like what she actually wants to say, and it's all played for laughs, and I just don't laugh about it. I just feel like he is genuinely being mean to his friend. There's this bit I really hate where it's like it feels like she has to like soften her language by making a joke so it doesn't piss him off too much. She's not directly saying he was incorrect about anything ever, and then he just replies, "That's a bad joke, you suck at jokes, ha 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 ha, funny Tsubaki, I'm gonna make a better joke with you because I'm the best man at anything. I can't lose at anything, even just making a fucking joke." And then the joke is he's bad at making jokes, but he thinks he's the best, and he just keeps saying the joke over and over again until Tsubaki agrees to say, "Oh yes, that was actually funny," when it is in fact not funny. And it's just generally, why is it supposed to be like endearing or silly or humorous that their relationship is just gaslighting all the way down? Like, at most I can say they at least portray it as him being oblivious to the fact he's wrong rather than intentionally doing this, because he's just too stupid to intentionally manipulate someone, I guess. But it still sucks. It's just he refuses to acknowledge any flaw he ever has, and he refuses to care about his friends enough to not do things that make them really upset. And that's what gets me. He constantly puts his own ego above his literal friends. Her safety of not getting gunned down by a bunch of mafia guys, because he'd rather just do a big performance than actually do what he needs to do to win the fight. And he's like, ha ha ha, funny, it doesn't matter, it wasn't really horribly dangerous, we didn't almost die. And I just really don't like him. I just really don't. It's a terrible introduction to this character. And what makes it all worse is it's just a fucking copy. As well as the plot of the episode being really similar to the first episode, when you think about it, in terms of the entire show, Black Star is just Soul but worse. He is just the same exact character arc. Here is a guy who is posturing and pretending to be cool, but with Soul it's to hide he actually has self-confidence issues. With Black Star, we get no such reveal. They establish that with Soul really fast in one single episode with minor little bits of dialogue. With Black Star, you generally get nothing. He 100% feels like he is actually this arrogant, and it's not hiding deep hurt or anything. There's no big reason for it. There's no sympathizing aspect where he can still actually care about his partner and do the right thing sometimes. He is just a dick. And the show has to directly turn to the fucking camera and say he is not as much of a jerk as he seems, and then never actually show him not being as much of a jerk as he seems. And it's just really weird. I just don't get it. There's nothing more gained from him in this episode than you get from the first. Soul just does the same character arc better. And he actually has other aspects to him beyond just being cool and arrogant. I don't know why, as a show creator, you would just think of, this is what I really need in my three main guys of the cast, is the same guy as the partner of the first guy, but he's the main guy now, I guess. I guess maybe that's the point, is it reverses the roles of the Meister and the weapon, but they're still just the same roles, but like exaggerated more and less good. I just don't get it. Why would you place this in this position as a second introductory episode? If we put him as the last one, maybe he would stand out less in a bad way. The first one and the third one, they're both great. When I get back to episode 3, I'll be absolutely screaming about how much I love that one. But yeah. And I would just say from here, I do not remember there being a single episode ever where Black Star finally does get over this problem, or even acknowledge he has a problem, because it's not treated as a problem in this first episode. It's just treated like funny. And it's not. And that's why I really hate the fan service in particular. To go back to that topic, I got distracted by trying to explain why it upsets me how Tsubaki is treated in particular, because that's the fan service in this episode. It really does feel like, we just had a quota of how much fan service to put in. The author felt self-conscious if we don't have fan service every 10 pages, will they not read it or something? Blackstar gets mad at Tsubaki for daring to object to him in any way, even when she didn't, even when she tried so fucking hard to be polite and like, basically lie and not really say what she's really thinking, which is, you have made a mistake and need to make up for this mistake. Even just politely insinuating slightly that and suggesting productive ways we can fix it made Blackstar so pissed off. He goes, I'm gonna pull a big stupid prank on Tsubaki to prove I really am a good ninja because I'm never allowed to be wrong ever. And then, haha, funny, he goes to pull the prank on her and she is in fact naked in the bath, and he sees her naked in the bath, and the show draws it in ridiculous stupid detail, and it's gross. That's the context of the required fan service of the episode, is just accidental sexual harassment crimes from the already arsehole protagonist towards the already really sympathetic downtrodden weapon girl. When I was watching it, I was saying, at least he wasn't doing it on purpose. That's the one way they could have made this worse. And then the very end of the episode ends with him then trying again to do it again on purpose. And it's just treated like a funny punchline, not, oh, Blackstar, you have learned literally fucking nothing from this whole experience and you've just become worse. I hate him. Also, he was peeping on more than one woman that time. He peeped on not only Tsubaki, but every other student in the women's dorm. And that's a funny punchline. I hate him. I really, really don't like him. I am, like, admiring the restraint I had as a child to merely go, I'm just going to ignore him and pretend he isn't in the show. I outright am like, I don't think I'll enjoy any episodes he's in. I remember there being a grand total of one Blackstar episode I ever liked, and it was like, oh, he's acting really suddenly out of character and actually showing some genuine care for Tsubaki, and I just wish there was any build-up to prove that this existed beforehand. And that was the episode where it goes to Tsubaki's backstory with her brother. I can't remember the full context, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think that episode in particular was well handled. But I remember as a kid, even in that episode, going, there's at least one line where he just sounds really rude to Tsubaki. I can't remember what it is either, but yeah, that's the least rude to Tsubaki he is in the series as far as I know. But I don't recall there being any kind of resolution episode where he ever stops. And I just hate that. I don't get why this character is so popular. The only explanation I've ever seen is like, he's an awesome ego, like, the TV trope is named awesome ego and he's tagged in that. I just don't get it. Like, do people generally just find it funny how much he is really arrogant and it's unjustified and he sucks and he treats everyone like shit, but because it's funny it's okay? Are we supposed to suspend our disbelief about the idea that this show is meant to be about people we care about, who have development and care about each other and do things? Is this one guy supposed to be immune to all that and he can just be mean because it's funny? I don't get it. To clarify, my personal opinion on what makes a good, awesome, egotistical character is, like, 1, that they can actually back up their confidence anyway, 2, that they're not mean to people because they're confident, they're just, like, actually confident, because when people are genuinely confident, they don't need to put other people down to pretend that they're better than they are. And, like, 3, like, a character who is, like, uplifting everyone else, like, the point is they try and make everyone else confident too. Someone like that can really, like, barge into your life and make everything better. I would say that Jack Harkness from Doctor Who is a great example of an actual awesome, confident person. And he, you know what he also had? He had growth, because he wasn't that good in his first episode. He developed into it. He had darker edges and things he had to face up to and change for. And also he's very bisexual. That's not a mandatory part. I'm not saying we should put that on Blackstar, but hey, it would be pleasant if you did. He genuinely has better shipping chemistry with Soul than Tsubaki, who is apparently supposed to be canon. It's such a bad introduction to the character to make you leave the end of the episode going, not, oh, Tsubaki is a perfect partner for him, but rather, Tsubaki deserves to be with literally any other person on the earth except for him. This is the worst thing for her mental health. I found a better way to sum up the entire problem is, I feel like the show thinks the reason they balance each other well is she's exactly what Blackstar needs. Someone who's infinitely patient and always does everything and never tells him off, and I think Blackstar needs the exact fucking opposite. I think Blackstar needs someone who calls him out on his shit, because he's never going to change, he's never going to grow, he's never going to get better. In a real world scenario, he never would, unless he realizes what he's doing is wrong, and instead in the show, he just keeps on stubbornly pretending to be the best until he eventually does actually become the best, and gets everything he ever wanted. Maybe the fans' headcanon ideas for a justification for why he's this way, and how it can relate to his backstory, like put the links together, because I remember what his backstory is. They don't make it justify how he acts, they really don't. But hey, maybe fans have found ways to flesh that out more, expand upon it more, and like, I will be cheering, I will be hoping, I would be the happiest in the world to be proven wrong. Maybe there is some episode at some point where Blackstar gets good and I just don't remember it. But I'm not going to preemptively get my hopes up. I'm going into this with cautious optimism, please. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like the episode, and I'm happy for it to be over. And I'm unhappy for the fact that I know Blackstar will return in many, many, many more. I think that's the reason why this episode doesn't work so well, is because the entire point is to introduce the character and make you excited to see him throughout the rest of the series, and that's the one thing it doesn't share with the other two introductory episodes. The first one and the third one introducing the character, I'm not going to spoil yet, they both do a good job of making you go, oh, they're entertaining, they're fun, they have genuine character motives and unique things which I think we could build upon. I want to see more episodes of them, and this episode is just, it's Soul again, but he's shittier. And blue. I honestly feel ashamed that I have the same hair colour as this man. And okay, now for bonus moments Bornford noticed while watching the first time, little clips and stuff. First of all, to start off, I just really like the design for the Al Capone guy's underlings. I also got very confused on where to start recording this episode, because on the DVD they all just roll into each other and it includes every end of episode, start of episode promo, and this one had two of both. It genuinely, the last episode ended with twice explaining next episode we're going to have Blackstar. It was like one where it's just the usual style where the characters just talk over some clips of footage from the next episode, and one where it was like a cinematic trailer type thing, and they just both communicated the same information. Look forward to next time there will be a ninja guy. Haha, funny, he's not good at ninjaing, he's actually this. And I feel that makes this episode even worse if you watch those, because then you don't even get a surprise of the opening scene setting it up like, oh, is he actually a cool ninja? No, he is in fact not. You already know, and you have to watch the same scene basically 3 times in a row in different clip shows. And then, bafflingly, this episode also opens with 2 intros. It has the same ones from the first episode, Macca's, a sound soul, sound body, etc. And then also Lord Death just explaining what the scores and what the premise of the show is. It did make me wonder if maybe these 3 episodes were aired out of order or in a special way, like either in the original American broadcast or the Japanese one. They certainly weren't in the UK as far as I know. But that's the only justification I can think of, is if they were designed so you could watch these in any order and get the introductions to the characters, maybe they needed a recap every time because of that, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Random quirk of the DVD release, it only now starts having subtitles for the song. Didn't have that in the first episode. If I knew how to pronounce Japanese words, I would sing this for you. Da-da-da-da-da-da, yeah.
100 versus me, what I like.
I forgot that Blackstar kinda has T-boy swag. It's not just me, right? His English voice sounds really, not feminine, but like a just designated female at birth person. Like, I know it's normal for like little kid characters, male characters in anime to be voiced by women, but that voice to me doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like a girl trying to do a masculine voice. It just sounds like, here is a young person who may have possibly been assigned female at birth and is just awesome and trans. I doubt that's what was intended. It may just be a flubbed voice performance that was meant to sound different. But I don't know, it is kind of cool, it is kind of appealing from my perspective. It does remind me a bit of Nam from Jake-Cocoon 2, who also has an accidental vibe to him. Also just has some dialogue that accidentally sounds really trans. But again, in both situations, I doubt it's meant to be any intentional representation, because this show does have intentional non-binary representation, and it is not shy about it when we get to it. I don't know what his voice is in Japanese. I wonder if it's totally different. Yeah, no, the Japanese version just sounds like exactly what you'd expect for this kind of voice. It's definitely still a female actress voicing both times, but you get what I mean, it's very different.
100 versus me.
I guess we can write this off as either it's just a mistake in the voice direction that the actress was given, like not enough information on that. This is the general tropes of how you're meant to portray a masculine voice of a feminine actress in this genre of animation, or it was a deliberate choice for some reason to change the intonation. But I do still appreciate the headcanon. From his appearance and his personality and his whole archetype, I would have expected him to have a very cliche macho voice, so it does kind of make the character a little bit less shit. I still remember liking him very much though. I'm sorry, I gotta be like, even if I can relate to a character, if a character still sucks, I gotta say, well, okay, I welcome you to the community and I unwelcome you from my heart. Time to hating the character approximately 20 seconds from him being introduced. The first thing he's shown doing is humiliating his friend by basically singing into her head when she's in weapon form, while also failing a massive mission that he pressured into doing, and just, oh. Second thing to make me hate Black Star, I love this really adorable detail of the boy-y things on the dock having little faces. This is just an idea in the world building, and the moon and the sun always have faces. It's nice. Then Black Star just comes and kicks the lovely octopus-looking friends in the face. I know it's minor, but he can't even be nice to furniture. This is obviously not an actual serious sin on Black Star's list of bad things. I just thought it was funny to point out. Third thing, in less than 2 minutes that makes me hate Black Star, everything I said before about the scene of him, can't even let her win at making jokes. His entire existence is just disrespect, man. Yeah, this is the mood of their entire screen time in the whole series. I genuinely think that Soul Eater would be exactly the same if you just cut this character out. Like, keep Tsubaki, just ditch Black Star. More shitty things, Black Star's every single scene is just more reasons to not like or care about him as a protagonist of this episode. And this was a scene where Tsubaki is like, maybe let's reasonably take on some other mission, and Black Star gets super fucking pissy. She's again trying so hard to reason with him and deal with him. It's like, it feels like wrangling a fucking bag of cats. Brief cameo from Maka and Soul just establishing they are indeed already friends. I didn't remember that. I remember there being something that shows how they became friends. But I guess as with everything else with Black Star, it's really underbaked and shitty. We just say he's evidently so cool that him and Soul are already pals. Somehow. I guess they bonded over toxic masculinity. Best part of the episode so far, Lord Death does the Shinigami chop and knocks Black Star unconscious for being a shit. Thank you, sir. I'm glad at least you agree with me. I was not exaggerating about the scene where Soul just turns to the camera and says, Black Star isn't as much of a jerk as you think he is. Oh, I remembered the ending. Yeah, I just saw the house looks like the hat of a little witch, and it all came rushing back to me. Black Star will not commit child murder. The only good trait in this man. Pan over to Black Star, being all pissy. How dare Tsubaki say that we should respect our own limits and stick to missions that actually work? How dare she say I couldn't win against Al Capone when I just didn't win against Al Capone? I'm so mad at Tsubaki for having reasonable concerns about my shitty, horrible, bad friend behaviour. And ooh, accidentally I saw her naked in the bath. Haha, funny joke. I am not going to show it. Funny tree forest. You know, it's bad when generally the best thing I can say about the episode is I like the environment design. And then they meet Dad Swordman, the Swordman of Dad. I remembered him. I didn't remember him being this early in the series. Sword Dad guy just directly says it. He says to Black Star, I don't want to fight a random kid. I don't want to kill anyone who's actually an innocent. Literally just leave here and don't kill the person I care about a lot, and we can peacefully be friends. And Black Star is like, I only want to defeat you because you're strong, and I want to prove I'm really, really strong and good. And I'm just a sucky piece of shit, man, who cannot for 1 second stop and think about moral implications of what I'm doing when it's being beaten upside my head. Absolutely one of the worst lines in the show. Black Star just being so arrogant and disgusting and awful and mocking this guy, like, you must feel so afraid standing in the shadow of my greatness. I understand how you feel being so small and so unconfident. Not because I, in fact, have unconfidence issues and a sympathetic reason for being arrogant. No, in fact, I understand how you feel because I'm so cool, I intimidate even myself. Looking in a mirror is so shocking. Oh, funny joke. Fuck yeah, the Sakuga. I genuinely want Mifune to win. Like, I know how it goes, but I wish the episode did just end right here with this fucking awesome move, and then he beats the shit out of Blackstar 1,000 entire times. Mifune directly the voice of the audience. Yeah, Blackstar, you fucking suck. The only reason you are surviving, let alone like not even succeeding, just not dying in these fights is because Tsubaki is great and is constantly helping you. It's so like you would expect there to be an arc. You would expect these characters to be correct. You would expect Blackstar to learn some shit from them.
No stupid kid can be as big a guy as I am.
I mean, I guess I can just say, like, this ring specifically, I'm a big man, it's the same reason why a lot of people headcanon Nam from Jake Cocoon 2 as being Transmask. If you can headcanon these ideas that make the character better, that give him a sympathetic reason for having arrogance and anger issues, it could make a better show, but it's just not in the show. And I wish it was in the show, because I would have liked to have a reason why he wants to be big, to put it that way. Why people have looked down upon him for his... The thing is, nobody even fucking looks down upon him. He only ever gets people being mean to him in any way when he's being an arsehole to them first and he's attacking them for no fucking reason. Everyone in the fucking show loves Blackstar so much. He's bestest friends with Soul already. And Tsubaki always does anything he tells her to, and only mildly objects. If he could have been a genuine underdog, and there could be reasons why he has his anger issues and he realises they're wrong and he develops, and now he has someone to genuinely bond with who believes in him and thinks he isn't inferior for how he was born, and he can be who he wants to be someday, and he realises, like, hey, the way I am talking is making my friends feel small, is making everyone else around me feel like shit to big myself up. That's why I hate it. He only gains self-confidence by putting other people down. YouTube didn't like me recording this terrible line from Blackstar, so here is my impression of it. You know what would make you less of a big shot, Mifune? What if I cut you into 4 pieces? I like murdering random innocents who've done nothing wrong. Literally just existing and being stronger than me means it's justified to murder you. Wish he died, wish he died.
He got hit.
See, even in this moment, Mifune didn't go for a killing blow. So much more fucking honourable than you.
No.
Yes. Stay down. Leave the show forever.
I'm beginning to feel real sorry for that weapon of
Yeah, me too.
The only reason that you've survived this fight for so long is her
Yep,
strength and
exactly.
intelligence. But no matter how good a weapon may be, it's wasted if an unskilled master
Yep.
is wielding it.
100% correct. You're not the
just a
villain.
useless little
I agree
kid.
with everything you were saying.
You're wrong about him.
No, he's not. Why are you just outright saying the flaws with a character and then we just don't address them when we don't fix them later on?
Assassin's rule number 1.
And YouTube would not let me show you any of the fight, but you know what I don't get copyright struck on?
Is this the same brat from a minute ago?
I gotta say that, like, I'm conflicted on this being the twist that lets them win, because on the one hand, it's genuinely unexpected. The way it's framed, you'd think they're saying Blackstar has learned a lesson, he's actually gotten better, and the twist is actually the reason Mifune is like, oh, he suddenly seems more serious and different, is because it's actually Tsubaki disguised as Blackstar using her illusion ninja tool powers, and she just finishes the fight, basically. And then Blackstar just jumps out for a sneak attack in the last 5 seconds, so it doesn't even prove that this repetition of the assassin rules since the start of the episode, Blackstar doesn't even actually learn them or get any better at them. The only way he could pull off a sneak attack for the first time in his entire life is, again, if Tsubaki just fully carries him and does all the work. It does not work as any kind of emotional resolution, but at least it's surprising. I certainly didn't remember it when I was first watching, and I just felt really let down. Born of the Future coming back in editing, I'm even more annoyed. I just realised they missed a massive opportunity to make this an actual consistent lesson. Just end it in some way with Blackstar expressing gratitude to Tsubaki for basically pulling off the entire fucking plan that let him win. Have him acknowledge that he does need her help. Have him acknowledge that she is in fact a better fighter than he is. Instead, it just comes off as, for the entire length of the episode, he's been ordering Tsubaki around, and he wins by continuing to do that. I didn't fully hate him in my first watch through. I was just like, this is a pointless character and I wish he wasn't in it. But now I'm just like, oh.
You never had a shot at beating me.
Even in the fourth game, but you can't have a moment of humility. Where is the lesson you were meant to learn? Where is 1 second of realizing a single thing you did was wrong? You just got the power-up you needed to win by being so certain you were still correct. Fucking moral black hole of a man. And for some reason it has paused and it's not showing anything further. I guess my DVD is scratched. Or maybe the DVD itself is trying to spare me from Black Star. Okay, this time it's progressing, yeah. I do at least like the animation for that. And yeah, there's a twist of the episode. The only good thing Black Star does in the whole episode is I won't kill a child. And he won't even directly say that. He goes, well, it's really pathetic actually that you're a big wimp who protects a child. Haha, funny. That's the reason I'm not going to kill you is because you're too much of a loser and you're not strong actually. So I won't become the strongest ever by defeating you. So I'm going to leave. And like, at least in this context you get he's lying because he actually is like, I don't want to kill a kid. But like, genuinely, that doesn't make him any less of a shitty character. There's one moral line he will not cross, and it's child murder. He will cross every other moral line, including dad murder, and just treating everyone who loves him like shit. I just can't get over that. I can't get over the fact that they just drop the plot of it being about how he treats Tsubaki halfway through the episode. There's no resolution. This could have been 2 episodes, and at least one of them might have been good that way. I don't know, man. It's really a whole episode of him being the shittiest possible, and then the most bare minimum, and then the show is all like, uplifting music, this means he's good actually, oh, this must be why Tsubaki stays with him, she knows he's good deep down, and I don't know he's good deep down. I don't believe it, sorry. I just think he's a little shit. Like, I don't think he's evil, but he's just not likable. He's just a bratty dude who needs to learn a lesson, and the whole universe is contriving to not make him learn it. And here is the reasons why Black Star isn't quite as shitty as we thought. Now the one bit of credit Bonford gave him that he didn't at least purposefully spy on her in the bath. Now he goes and purposefully spies on her in the bath and multiple other women, and that's the funny note we end on. He's still disrespecting his best friend and seeing her as an object. Wonderful. Don't we really want to watch a whole fucking series about this chode? I don't want every single episode of him in it to just be me complaining like this, so I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm just going to kind of skip over Black Soul's bad scenes in the future. I'm going to only comment on moments where he actually did something worthy in any way. I will probably still comment on the Black Soul punches Maka in the face episode, whether I was indeed correct or not in remembering that was a bad episode, because, again, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I gave the benefit of the doubt to this episode, and it was worse than I expected, but whatever. And then they also show 2 previews for the next episode this time. I would be happy to now erase this episode from my memory and move on to Death the Kid, who I like a lot more.